All right. Good evening, climate leaders. Thank you so much, everyone, for attending today's training session. Today, we're going to be receiving a presentation from the San Joaquin County Council of Governments, also known as SJCOG. And today, they're going to be giving a presentation on transportation and mobility within the county, but specifically as it relates to South Stockton and the TCC project. We're very excited to have Christine Corrales and Yvette Davis from SJCOG on to give the presentation. And so in addition to their presence, I also wanted to introduce my colleague, Deangelo Mack, who is helping me oversee the TCC project. And so just wanted to let you all know that he is on to introduce himself, and that from time to time, in case there's any need, I may ask him to either help or participate with some of the work that we're all doing as climate leaders or part of the Climate Leaders program. And so, Deangelo, if you're able to just give a quick introduction of yourself and say hi to the climate leaders.
Yeah, thank you, William. I'm sorry, I'm in the car. I'm going to be in a better position in a moment. But hey there, climate leaders. Deangelo Mack with Public Health Advocates.
And it looks like his camera might have frozen. Deangelo? Okay, not a problem. Technical difficulties happen.
Forward to working with all of you.
Oh, you had frozen. You froze.
Did I freeze?
Yes.
It's the story of my life. Just saying that, just pleased to be in the space with you all and hope to meet you in person very soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Deangelo. So with that, I think we have reached a critical mass. So why don't we go ahead and allow Christine to get started on today's presentation. So take it away, Christine.
Christine, this is Yvette. I'll just mention though that we're expecting Caroline is not on yet, right? Rodier. So William, if you want to just kind of—
There we go. Usually it pops up at the top, like who's in the waiting room, but I think she just hopped on right now. So
all right, perfect.
Just added them.
All right.
All right. Okay, why don't I get us started? Good afternoon/evening, everyone. My name is Christine Corrales. I'm a senior planner with the San Joaquin Council of Governments, and also born and raised Stocktonian. So happy to be with you all in this space and share a bit about what we do at the San Joaquin Council of Governments. Give me a second and I will share my screen. All right, is this coming through? All right, so again, we're the San Joaquin Council of Governments. And before we get into like a introduction about what the agency does, thought we could spend a couple minutes doing a quick quick icebreaker activity here. And so this is something we've done out in the community pre-pandemic when we've done table outreach. We ask folks we interact with, how do you roll? And this question is really pertaining to your transportation, your primary modes of transportation around the community. So why don't we go around the room, and it would be great if you could introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you hope to learn as a TCC climate leader, and then tell us, how do you roll? What's the mode of transportation that you use most to get to your daily destinations? And I'll kick it off by introducing myself. Again, my name is Christine Corrales. I'm not a TCC climate leader, but I consider myself a climate leader by nature of the work that we do at SJCOG, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And in terms of how do I roll, when I travel to work, I usually either drive myself or take the bus. Route 40 is my bus route along Pacific Avenue, and it takes me right to downtown, a block away from our office. And so, do I have any volunteers from the crowd?
Sure, I'm Patricia Barrett. I think I'm a climate leader. I roll by a car. I want to learn big solutions, community involvement solutions with agency backup.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Pat. Do you want to pick somebody?
Raina. Oh, that was easy.
Hello everyone. My name is Raina and I do car. I drive my car everywhere. I feel bad for saying that.
That's okay.
We're not here to shame.
No.
Something I want to do is to really get information about environmental changes and how I can do that. I don't really have a lot of, knowledge about all of this. And I just want to gain as much as I can to just share that information with my community. And I'll go with Damaris.
Hello everyone, I'm Damaris and I hope to learn, like Raina was saying, I hope to learn, kind of not just the basics, but things that are more impactful for people in my community. And I hope to be able to share and kind of be that person who others can look for knowledge, who are a little bit less educated, like the average person. I hope to be the one that they can turn to for knowledge. And my main form of transportation would be car, but I also take public transportation by bus. Thank you. Oh, and I'll pick Caroline.
Hi. Yep, I'm Caroline Rodier and I work at UC Davis as a researcher, and I'm working on the STEP project with Christine and Yvette. So how do I roll? Well, I work at home. So, and I have a lot of shops around me. So generally I walk. If not, I actually not driving a lot, but my other mode really is an electric vehicle. So, and then what was the exact question again, Christine? How did you,
What do you hope to learn as a climate leader?
Oh, so much. I guess I've been doing evaluations of some of these, what they call equity pilots or shared use mobility pilots in social justice communities. And I guess one of my near-term goals is to really understand, how to evaluate projects from the community perspective. How to look, how does the community want to measure what is the outcome of these projects, and how to better engage, even though it's pretty tough these days because we have to do a lot of virtual meetings instead of in-person meetings, and how to make that work. I guess that's where I'm coming from right now.
Do you want to pick someone, Caroline?
Oh, yes. How about Nick?
Nick, I'm not sure. I think there were some audio issues.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can
you're
hear you
good.
now.
Okay. So, yeah, I get around in my truck. It's smog though, it passes. So no whole lot of damage. And what I hope to learn from this, well, the whole thing, I want to learn how I can make a difference in how I can make changes and teach others to make changes and get changes made on a larger scale. And when I say larger scale, I mean in our government, making changes to have stuff done and get our air to where we can breathe it again without having to worry about it anymore. But that's about it. And we'll go with rain.
Hi everyone, My name is Rain Romeo and my pronouns are she, hers. And what I hope to learn being in this program is more about indoor air pollution and how it affects our community, especially in our school system and even our homes, as well as resources that can help to reduce those harmful substances within our air. And also to gain more perspective, learning from others, whether it be the Climate Leaders Cohort or even other programs such as SJCOG right now. And my main method of transportation is also by car. And I don't know who hasn't gone yet. Anthony, have you gone yet?
Just really quick, for folks who haven't gone yet, sorry to interrupt, Anthony, but for folks who haven't gone yet, can you please either, if you're able to, can you raise your hand on the raise your hand function?
Yes, Anthony Robinson Jr., climate leader, Stocktonian, born and raised.
Oh, what happened?
I guess what I hope to learn is to be able to bridge the gap that I think is existing between EJ environmental justice movements and the most vulnerable population that doesn't really get the resources for environmental justice, which is the homeless or unsheltered population. We're just figuring out how to kind of integrate that work. And I'll pass it to Davis.
All right, my name is Yvette Davis and I'm the Senior Program Specialist at SJCOG, and I oversee a lot of programs to mitigate bad air quality, improve air quality. What I'm hoping to learn is from you is what your needs are and how we can reach you. You know, we recognize that from an outreach perspective, we can always do better. So we're looking to you to let us know how. And how do I roll? I roll by car mostly, I have to say. Recreationally, I try to ride my bike more. And I have ridden to work by bike, but it takes about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. So it's not a daily, not a daily practice.
All right, did we miss anyone? I want to make sure everyone had a chance to share and introduce themselves.
Hi, this is Liliana. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I dialed in, so I can't see anyone. Couldn't get my system up this morning or this evening. Either way, I'm Liliana Carmona, and what I'd like to learn more about and understand is the air quality. Air quality is so important to life. So yes, I want to be able to learn much, much more than the little bitty tiny bit that I do know, and how I will be moving around is by car or bike. I have several bikes if need one fix a flat or whatever, but yeah, I have several bikes that I can use. I'll pass it on to whoever hasn't went.
Okay, climate leaders, help me and let me know if anyone's hasn't gone yet. Give it 5 seconds.
Hi, my name is Joellian Johnson, also climate leader. I think for me, it's similar to what people have said before, is like being able to cultivate language so that it's easier to get folks eager to be organized, but also like understanding why it should be important to them. I think there's definitely a lack of communication between like why it's important and what people should be carrying out. But I think also in terms of solutions look like, particularly in a policy and infrastructure perspective.
Great, thank you so much. I think that's everyone. Unless William, you wanted to share, or Deangelo, you wanted to share or answer your question about how do you roll?
Yeah, I'll just answer very quickly. William Mutzenberg, I'm the program manager for the TCC program, so it's overseeing the Climate Leaders program. And I'll just answer very quickly that I generally drive because I'm in Tracy, so we don't have a lot of connectivity, at least frequent connectivity. But sometimes when I'm in Tracy, I try to ride my e-bike as much as possible. And then I'll pass it to Deangelo.
Yeah, I'll be quick as well. Deangelo Mack again, Director of Equity Justice here at PHA. I drive too. I'm squinting as everyone else is. I feel bad by saying that. But mostly because I work from home, I do a lot of walking as well. So, and been kind of shedding in, so haven't been able to drive. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, thank you all for participating. So I'm going to do a quick time check. We're at 5:20 and we're going to try and honor the 6 o'clock stop time. So I might breeze through, but tell me if I'm going too fast. And I will try my best. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit more about SJCOG, and this is our mission statement, which is a lot of words, but essentially our mission is to partner with local governments, the private sector, community groups as a forum, facilitator, and administrator of regional programs, and to advocate for regional and interregional issues in the development of a comprehensive strategy to achieve resolutions. So kind of some key words I hope you take away from this mission statement is that we're a forum, we're a facilitator. We think about regional, we think about issues on a regional scale. And while we're talking about the TCC area, which is a very focused part of Stockton, what we know at the regional scale is that this part of Stockton also represents the entire region's most challenged neighborhoods. And so on a regional scale, we're putting some attention on this neighborhood level because we understand it impacts the entire region. And also kind of more broadly, we talk about resolutions and regional issues, not specifically. And so there are a lot of things that come to SJCOG at the regional scale. And that's because some issues impact not just Stockton, but they impact all of the cities within San Joaquin County. And so when that happens, naturally, the SJCOG provides that forum for stakeholders across San Joaquin County and across the region to come together and develop solutions. And so that's what I'm hoping you take away from that mission statement. But kind of more about SJCOG, we're actually governed by a board of directors. So when we talk about the COG, really the COG is our board. And it's made up of elected officials from each of the 7 cities. And so each of the 7 cities has a rep on the board. City of Stockton gets 3, and the county supervisors get 3 seats. And so that comprises our voting membership. And then we also have non-voting members from San Joaquin Regional Transit District, who operates the bus here in Stockton. The Port of Stockton also has a non-voting seat, and Caltrans, who operates and maintains our highway system here in the area, also has a seat on our board of directors. And the role of the board is really to kind of direct funding decisions around transportation specifically, so that we can improve our system and make sure that it serves the population throughout our community. And so just wanted to highlight that for you all. And then in addition to our board of directors, SJCOG plays a number of roles in the region. All of them are kind of summarized really quickly and graphically on your screen here. So we're a regional transportation planning agency. We're something called a metropolitan planning org. We are the Airport Land Use Commission. We also operate and maintain a multi-species habitat conservation plan and a fair share housing plan. We also oversee air quality conformity. And so as you can see, there's just a laundry list of services and programs and roles that we play for the region. And today, you all mentioned transportation, and that's kind of what we're going to focus on. Transportation, of the roles that I just had on your screen, I'm highlighting the ones that focus specifically on transportation. And today we're going to focus in on our Measure K program, which funds a lot of projects in our region. Specifically, I'll highlight some projects in the TCC area. And then I'm going to kick it over to Yvette to talk about our transportation demand management programs and share a little bit more about the programs available, resources available to you all in the transportation realm of things. So really quickly, here's our Measure K half-cent transportation sales tax, and I'm going to play a short video about Measure K.
Bridge behind us, probably one of the most ingenious and renowned projects that I've ever seen. It's a great way to travel. And now it's really, really nice. Measure K was a big win for the residents of the county.
Transportation is so essential to our lives. We need it to deliver our food, medical aid, to get us to work, to school, to stay connected, and even take us to explore new regions.
It provides clean air, reduce greenhouse gas, and reduce traffic congestion. In other words, better quality of life.
That's why the voter-approved Measure K half-cent sales tax is so important to our region. $65 million is raised each year for transportation improvements. Here is how the San Joaquin Council of Governments puts that money to work for us.
I work in San Francisco. I live in Stockton. I have been commuting on ACE. I can keep a job that I really like, and it allows me to continue to support myself. Having ACE makes it possible. I'm in the comfort of a train and I'm looking out the window. Most times I read, catch up on email, meditate. It's kind of nice just to sail past everyone.
These under and overpasses allow train travel to seamlessly coexist with vehicle.
This advisory committee has not only helped, but in some cases we've actually kind of led the charge of how we can improve money being spent in our community. You know, it's exciting when I travel to the community because I get to see what we've been doing. And I know that the money has been spent very well. The Council of Governments is a very frugal group of individuals who are looking to make the best investment with every dollar.
Patching up the common frustrating pothole and other safety issues is how 1/3 of Measure K funds are put to use. Maintaining roads and freeways throughout the region creates safe travel for all of us.
As a one-lane road, Thornton was congested. There was a lot of foot traffic on the sides. It made getting in and out of the businesses very, very difficult. It's been so much better. With the multiple lanes, the traffic's just a lot easier. Turning is so much easier out of the businesses. The road on Thornton is just so much smoother now.
Many believe these transportation projects improve our air quality and our quality of life.
Yeah, I love the path. You can just get up in the morning and come here and you know you have a safe place to run.
You really feel like you're out in nature, not in town like it really is. So it's just awesome. So to recap, our Measure K funds have reduced congestion, eased commutes, provided transit options, improved air quality, and overall enhanced our quality of life.
It's a half cent well spent.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. It is a half cent well spent.
All right. Thanks all for bearing with me here. So that's a quick overview about the Measure K program itself. And now I was going to highlight a couple of key projects in the project area, in the TCC project area specifically. And so on SJCOG's website, we publish an annual report. And so this is the latest annual report edition. And so on the congestion relief side, someone did have a question about a project specifically, and so wanted to share some information about that. And that project is the SR4 or State Route 4 Crosstown Freeway extension. In the last year, there's been some work on Crosstown, and most of that's primarily related to utility modifications, and those were completed within the last fiscal year. And some of the kind of benefits of the project that are touted for this Crosstown 4 extension is that it really benefits the Boggs Tract neighborhood by reducing highway and big rig traffic through the neighborhood. I think prior to this extension, there were just kind of lines and lines of truck traffic going through the neighborhood. And so this freeway extension improves the connectivity of the trucks so that they're not getting off the freeway in the neighborhood. They're actually kind of going directly to the port from I-5 and the Crosstown. And so that's a project that was recently completed within the last year, and now kind of helps truck traffic move a little bit more freely and reduce kind of the air quality and any noise pollution that might be associated with the trucks that were previously on the street. Aside from the congestion relief project here in the project area, the other kind of key projects I wanted to bring to y'all's attention is in our bike ped category. These are transportation options that are coming online or just approved for funding by our SJCOG board in the last year. And so one key one I wanted to make sure you all were aware of is this Greater Downtown Bike and Ped Connectivity Project in Stockton. It's building more bike and pedestrian improvements so that folks can get to school and get to their work and travel to other kind of key destinations in the downtown area. And so here on the map, you'll see kind of peppered north-south on Lincoln Street and Aurora Street, and then east-west on Rose Street in the project area are some crossing improvements, ADA curb ramp improvements on the sidewalks, high visibility crosswalks so that folks can cross the street with greater visibility and so that cars can see them when they're crossing, and some sidewalk gap closures. So this was a project that was approved by the board in March of 2021. So that's something to kind of look forward to in terms of construction in the near term. And then another project in the project area I wanted to highlight quickly before I pass the mic over to Yvette is the South Airport Way separated bikeway. This is a project that's going to be introducing a bikeway or bike lane on South Airport Way between MLK Boulevard and Performance Drive. And this is to make sure it's safer and it's a low stress route for folks who travel by bike to get from Southeast Stockton to downtown. And so some key destinations where this is going to be connecting folks is, providing better bike ped access to the schools along Airport Way, the county fairgrounds, and Williams Brotherhood Park. So with that, I'll stop on this end and then I'll pass the mic to Yvette.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to talk about transportation demand management. Chris.
Yeah, let me just
Okay.
start
Christine will have the slides in a moment. So although the programs that I will be talking about are program wide, they're not specific to any area. As Christine mentioned, a lot of our programs, impact the entire county. So the programs that I'll talk about do impact most of the county. And transportation demand management is more of an industry term, which you may not have ever heard of, and you probably don't need to. But what it means is that we develop strategies and projects and tools to address demand and to kind of redistribute demand across the county and maximize transportation choices for the public. And a lot of it has to do with improving air quality, which some of you have mentioned you have an interest in and concern about, and reducing traffic congestion. Next slide, please. So SJCOG, San Joaquin Council of Governments, has several programs. We'll just highlight a few here. DIBS is one of them. DIBS is a significant tool that SJCOG has, and not only for San Joaquin County, but also for Stanislaus and Merced County. So we contract with the other Council of Governments to provide services in those three counties as well. And what DIBS does is it provides tools and services to encourage commuters to use an alternative smart travel mode, such as biking, walking, using transit, carpooling, and van pooling. And so our program tries to make it easier for the public to kind of make the transition from driving alone to one of the smart travel options. Next slide, please. And how we do that is we work directly with employers. We do a lot of employer outreach and work directly with them because that's how we can reach commuters, the best way that we can reach commuters. So we conduct presentations, we provide marketing materials, we customize plans, we have on-site events. And then for the commuter, there are some incentives. So there's van pool subsidies. There's through our program, there's actually over 500 subsidies throughout the three counties, and actually almost 400 just in San Joaquin County, meaning vans originate in San Joaquin, but their destination could be in the Bay Area or in Tracy. So there are a lot of vans that the program manages. The program also offers an emergency ride home service. So for commuters that do ride share, whether they're carpooling, van pooling, riding transit on a regular basis, they can apply for an emergency ride home service. So we provide free rides home in the event of an emergency. So obviously, if somebody is carpooling or riding transit or van pooling, they don't have a way to get home on their own. So we provide free transportation in the form of either a taxi or a Lyft or Uber up to 4 times a year. So that helps alleviate some of the concerns that people would have. Well, if I carpool and I get to work and my child gets sick, how do I get home? And this is how we get them home. We also coordinate events throughout the year and free raffle prizes for people that choose smart travel modes. So it's a way to, encourage commuters to do that and have fun as well. Next slide, please. So this is the primary tool that DIBS has. It's the trip planning system. It's a multimodal trip planning system. So anyone can enter their origin and destination, and then it generates the various options that people have on their routes. Next slide, please. And so this is what would display. I put in here just a generic from our office here in Stockton to Tracy, but not a specific location in Tracy. So it works best if you have a specific location. But this will give you an idea that, you know, from Stockton to Tracy, there's potentially 10 carpools that exist that you can join, or there's 27 van pools. I will say that most of those van pools are going to a specific destination in Tracy because I know where they're going. But they are public van pools, so anybody would have access to them. Van pools are not free. We do provide a subsidy, so it decreases the cost. But there may be in some cases, and it depends, out-of-pocket cost for the participant and the passengers. So it shows the transit options, and then data on walking and biking and driving. So it's multimodal. It'll give you information on various modes. Once you register into the system and you may be interested in a van pool or a carpool, it will display somebody's name to get more information on those modes. Next slide, please. As a benefit, once you register into the system and you start utilizing the system, when we have events, typically we will have people log their trips so that we know, you know, how many people are using Smart Travel. And this is a benefit to you to know what your impact is when you use Smart Travel. You know, it'll give you cost savings. It'll give you the CO2 that you've utilized or saved. For the environment, so you're making a difference to the environment, and this is it shows you that impact. Next slide, please. This is an example of our work with employers. We don't have huge marketing budgets, so we work a lot with employers directly, and this is an example of the module that's in the trip planning system that employers can also see the impact that they're making. So as an example, this is just one distribution center in Tracy, the Amazon one, where they have over 1,500 members that registered into our system. And throughout the year, through events or even on a daily basis, these members have logged trips. And as a result of these trips, by using Smart Travel, it shows their impact on the environment. So an employer can use this towards, you know, they may have corporate sustainability goals, and this plays into that. It gives them information for management to show that they're making a difference also just in shifting transportation modes. Next slide, please. This I just wanted to highlight as part of the trip planning system. There is a school pool module. This is different than the typical trip planning module because it is more restrictive because of the sensitive nature of schools and exchanging information with parents and students. I just wanted to point it out, but we actually do not use this module very much. It's not that we won't. We will promote it more once we get kind of behind, COVID gets behind us more. I think it's a great tool, but I did want to point it out to let you know that it does exist, and it could be a good tool in the future for students and parents, to get their kids to school efficiently, on time, and save the environment at the same time. So, next slide, please. Now I'm going to shift into kind of another transportation demand management strategy. So, and this one typically is the public is not very familiar with this until they actually have a need. We have a freeway service patrol program in our county. We partner with Caltrans, the state transportation highway system agency, and CHP. So we partner with them. Caltrans provides most of the funding. At a local level, our agency provides funding as well. And what it is, it's free service when a motorist has a need on the major state highway roads. And it doesn't cover every roadway in our county because of funding, but we have tried to cover most of the more significant roadways. I will point out that we just added in this last year FSP on Interstate 5 and Crosstown, so State Route 4, the Crosstown Freeway. So it now covers, just looking at that map, it covers most of the county and the most significant roadways in the county. It doesn't offer service all day. We do have schedules. They're in the morning 5:30 to 9:30, and then again at 2:30 to 6:30. So it's meant to address commute traffic and, you know, reduce congestion by assisting motorists when they have a need. If you've got a dead battery, if you ran out of gas, if you have a flat tire, to assist them and get them off the road to a safe location. Next slide, please. I think that's it. So, Christine, I don't know if you want to hand it over to Caroline or.
Yeah. So really quickly, you know, and there's more. I know that myself and Yvette, we went through quite a bit of what SJCOG does already. But on top of that, we have a new project. It's called the Stockton Mobility Collective. And we wanted to bring it in front of you all because there's a lot of crossover with some of the TCC work that you all are doing. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Caroline really quickly, but I just wanted to provide a quick overview that this project is funded with a grant from the California Air Resources Board. We've got a ton of partners. If you want to learn more about our partners, you can visit our website, but I'm going to skip this slide. And these are our project goals really behind the Stockton Mobility Collective. We want to increase mobility, which is, you know, just to increase options for people to get around. We want to address environmental justice through this project. We want to advance social equity, and we want to provide residents in the project area with clean transportation options. And so there's a number of projects. I'm going to skip through. There's 6 different projects here that are included in the Stockton Mobility Collective. And today we're going to highlight the Shared Mobility Incentives project. And so with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Caroline.
Okay, thank you. So it's what today I'm presenting on it's the Mobility Wallet Incentives. This is basically a program that would give community members a monthly kind of stipend to pay for transit, as well as 2 new mobility options in the community. You know, and these 2 options are electric vehicle car sharing and electric vehicle bike sharing. And I just want to know if I need to give you more information on electric vehicle. Have you ever, can people raise their hands if they've ever used a bike sharing program on your little, nobody's used, okay, 1 person. How about a car sharing program? Nobody's used a car sharing. Okay, so I'll back up a little bit and tell you about our car sharing program. So this is a program that we started in the Southern San Joaquin Valley, and it's called Meocar. It uses electric vehicles, and it's stationed at different locations charging infrastructure. You can rent a car for 1 hour and the cost is $5 an hour, or you can rent the car for a day for $35 a day. And this is inclusive of all costs, you know, insurance, there's no extra charging costs, there's no, if you get in and out, if there's any, if the car fails, we'll tow the car. And so basically you will pick up the car at the station and you'll go where you want to go, and then you'll bring back the car and you'll pay only for the time that you use the car. I'm not usually the person who explains this. So please let me know if is that clear, or, you know, let's just ask questions. It will help me. Okay, Rain, it's clear. Okay, so it's similar with bike sharing. Okay, good. If anyone can give me a thumbs down, that's okay too. Okay. So, okay, thank you. So with bike sharing, it's a little bit different. So it's electric bikes with pedal assist. So these will be stationed, you know, throughout, and I'll show you a little bit later where these are, but I think it's basically the same area as TCC, is my understanding. So basically you can pick up a bike at a station and you can drive around wherever you want to go, and you can drop it off at another station, or you can drop it off any place where you can kind of hook up the bike, lock the bike. So, you know, it provides kind of one-way service. So you could use it to help you for first and mile transit access, these kind of things. Does that make sense to people? It's clear. Okay. Usually these are described well. Okay, so what we want to do with the mobility wallet is give, you know, a group of community members money each month, and they can use this money to pay for existing transit service, bike sharing, and car sharing. So tonight, one of my goals tonight is to get you all to give me input into the design of this program. So we are close to finishing a draft plan, you know, which we are like today, we're starting to reach out to other people, and we really want your feedback. So I'm also happy to provide this presentation. I'm presenting a lot of information. Oh, you can go to the next slide. I'm presenting a lot of information. If you have any questions after, please feel free to reach out to us, to me or staff at SJCOG, because we really want to work this out with the community members in a way in which it will be helpful, most helpful for them, and most accessible to community members. Okay, so basically the pilot goals are to reduce cost barriers to and increase the use of existing transit and new electric car sharing and electric bike sharing. You know, we're really hoping to reduce conventional vehicle miles travel, which will then reduce greenhouse gas emissions and other air pollutants from conventional vehicles. We're really hoping, we've seen with Meocar and our other program, that it really helps people who can't get to destinations that they want to get to. Perhaps they lack a vehicle or they don't have much access to transit, to really make to be able to make those transportation options a reality, or travel a reality for them. You know, going to work, education, financial health, social opportunities. And the pilot evaluation will assess these goals. So I just want to pause here for a minute to see how to get your comments on these goals, or if from a community perspective, you have different sorts of goals for this program. or questions about what I just presented? Okay. Since we're getting close on time, I will move to the next.
Oh, I saw Raina raised her hand.
Oh, good.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, so my question would be, is there, I maybe you did mention this, but where exactly is this plan implemented, like in South Stockton or the entire San Joaquin County?
Okay, can we move down to the slide with the maps? Who's ever doing? Yes. So based on my, this is my kind of first cut. These are the areas in which, if we look at percentage people of poverty, average number of vehicles, percent who actually drive to work, and I have these little arrows pointing to these areas, and I can tell you what the streets, if we go to the next, those are, based on our numbers analysis, thank you, our numbers analysis, that is kind of where we saw the most need, but definitely want your feedback on that. And so we see those areas as having, we have a limited amount of money to distribute. So, and we want to provide, an incentive that will make a difference in an individual's life. So here is where the kind of the concentration we see of Meocar, the locations where we'll concentrate Meocar and social bikes, which I think is what the bike sharing program will call. And this is essentially where I identified it was north of East Hazleton, south of East Harding Way, east of Center City, and west of Airport Way.
Yeah. Okay. So then these vehicles will be available for the people, right? And also the bikes.
Yes, so anyone can use these cars or bikes. You have to register for the program, but we wanted to we were thinking of, our idea was to give the mobility wallet to people who live in this area because there's a high need for resources to travel. Obviously, they don't have a lot of vehicles. They don't have a lot of extra spending money. And so they're probably sacrificing trips that they want to make. And we found in our Southern California program that like about 68% of the reservations made were actually new travel, people who couldn't travel because they didn't have access to a vehicle. So this helped them increase their accessibility.
So what do you and I assume that they like have to fill out a paperwork. What do you ask from them, like the Social Security, ID?
All they need is a credit card or a prepaid card. And I think they ask for your name, address, age. And I think you have to show your driver's license for Meocar.
Okay. But for a bike, it's any age, or is there an age limit?
Christine, do you remember? Let me see, I can go back and look up the slide.
Minimum age for participation with the bikes is 18 years old.
Yeah, and for car sharing, it's 21, because otherwise their insurance goes through the roof, and we're trying to provide an affordable option, keep the costs as low as possible.
Okay.
So I can just, any other questions? I mean, I'm sure these are questions that most people have. But anyways, but this is, okay, so if maybe we can go back, if we could go back up to the incentive dissemination slide. So what we're hoping to do is to give people prepaid, say you're selected, say you live in this area and you apply for the program and you're selected, or, you know, we just register you at certain tabling events. So we would give people these prepaid cards, and the prepaid cards would be loaded each month. So for these prepaid cards for the mobility wallet, it would be anonymous. There would be no registration required. I think these were more for other things. Card ID would be associated with participants. So funds would be loaded as needed on a monthly basis. I don't know if you have any comments about that.
I think I'm confused with the incentive dissemination. Like, is this card for people that would want to like rent a car or a bike, or is this
Yeah,
for...
you could use this card to pay for transit. Maybe if we go to the next slide.
Oh, okay.
You can
so
use
this is another program you have.
Yes. So you can
Okay,
use the card to pay for transit, to pay for car sharing, to pay for Van Gogh, the micro transit,
Yes.
and for the bike sharing. That's why I had to kind of tell you about the car sharing, bike sharing.
Oh,
Yeah, but this is to help people who may not be able to afford the services, or to encourage people to use the services.
Got it.
To try. So here we're kind of asking about the monthly value of alternatives. We have roughly about $600,000 for this service. And, you know, we're looking at, you know, number of members and versus duration of the, you know, if it would go for 12 months to 24 months, 150 members to 300 members, people who could participate in the program. And here on the other side, I have what can you buy with the wallet. So here are full RTD fares and discounts. If you're qualified for a discount, it's $30. A student pass. I don't know if commuter fares are something that's important in the geographic area we're looking at. And then Van Gogh, which is, are you guys familiar with Van Gogh? So Van Gogh is actually, you are, some people are, but Raina's not.
I am, and the wallet.
Okay, great. So, okay, Liliana's not familiar with Van Gogh. So Van Gogh is a really great program. It's, they call it, in my transportation field, we call it micro transit. But it basically, you can call and reserve, it's kind of like Lyft, but you, like a Uber or Lyft, but you'll share it with other people. So, you know, it's a $4 for the first 5 miles, and then 50 cents after that. And it's likely you'll share the ride with other people. They'll tell you how long it might wait, how long you may wait to have the car pick you up, but you can reserve it in advance. So it's a lot like Uber and Lyft. And what I'm hearing that it may be available after 5 in the near future. And then here again, we have Meocar and the hourly rates. So again, you know, if you want to think about this and get back to me, I'd really appreciate it. You know, sorry.
Isn't Van Gogh the one where 4 people can go for the same price, like if you and 3 of your buddies?
That may be, I only know this.
Okay.
I only know this, this is what's on their website. I'm not sure, but that might be. So if people
one way $4 is like $1 a person.
No, I'm pretty sure this is per person. Is that, are you guys, is it, I'm pretty sure it's per person. But I can look into it.
We can find out more information, share it if folks are really interested in learning more about Van Gogh.
Yeah, Van Gogh will pick you up at your place and take you to where you need to go and then take you back as well. You just
Yeah.
got to make an appointment. It is $4 per person. And then they average out wherever you're going to be taken to into the, and all of that. But yeah, I've rode Van Gogh multiple times.
No, thanks, Nick.
Yep, no worries.
So you would be able to pay for that service. So I'm wondering if you have any reaction to the different amounts. Okay, okay. And we do note, you know, a lot of the programs that are implemented other places are, you know, $100 a month. Okay, let's see. Shall we move to the next screen? I think we looked at these unless you had any more questions. Okay, next slide. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is another question we were hoping to get your input on. So, you know, we kind of described the area in which we're thinking, you know, might be a good location based on the data. But, you know, data is different than ground truthing. You know, we could have many different types of eligibility. You know, we could have proof of any residents living in the South Stockton area or the area that we identified. And then we could just ask for a proof of residency. So we're kind of, you know, there is the concern about, you know, much burden of paperwork for people to join. And then low income categories, looking if we should ask them where they live, and then get into asking them kind of questions about their household size and income. So this would require proof of residency and maybe proof of income. However, it's also possible to have people test to their income and just say that there may be random audits. You know, you'd randomly could be tapped to provide proof of income. Residents, we're also thinking about just asking residents who currently live in affordable housing, recruiting users from those areas. Again, it would be proof of residency. And then residency proximate to transit and pilot services. That would just be proof of residency again.
So when you go through all this process, this is down at an RTT station filling out an application, right? And getting a badge or a pass?
You would get a prepaid card.
Okay.
Yes.
Because this is, I mean, I'm trying to figure out with Van Gogh, we got 3 different webinars going into this house. With Van Gogh, and you're asking people their income, Van Gogh is for anybody that wants to pay that $4, right?
Yes, but you could use that card to pay for Van Gogh. You could use your prepaid card with $100 to pay for Van Gogh.
So you
Yeah, but I think you'd have to do it online in the app because I don't believe the actual bus takes money, if I remember.
Yeah, you would probably have to do it in the app.
So my purpose of trying to find out why the income and where they live. Just for demographics?
We want to provide the stipend to those who you know, are most economically constrained. You know, they don't have extra money. We know, you know, there are a lot of people after they pay for rent, you know, they're juggling, a lot of the people in our program are juggling groceries, money for prescriptions, and transportation. And it's kind of a juggle between those three. So we want to, we want to provide this and test this concept among people who really need it. Hopefully we would see a lot of people, in our programs, we see people traveling for work, all kinds of things that they couldn't do without some of the services that are available.
Okay, so I have a question with that.
Yeah.
With all of that, how are the unsheltered, the ones that don't have housing or anything of that nature, that basically would disclude them from being able to apply for something like that, because they would be, in my opinion, the most in need of something like that, so they can actually get jobs and be able to keep them to get transportation to and from. So I guess that's my question.
Yes, so we're kind of wanted to get some ideas from you. We did get some input that I guess the Stockton affordable housing allows people, homeless people to use the affordable housing locations as an address. But yes, it does seem like the way we're thinking of verification would be problematic.
Yeah, because to me, it just seems like if you have a place to live, or if you have a residence or address, then you qualify for this, because I get it. It proves that you're paying rent. You have an address. I get all that. But a lot of it, yeah, we need help too. I mean, we just became non-homeless 3 weeks ago. So we've been homeless 4 years and got off the street into an apartment. So, these kinds of things would have been nice to have when I was on the street, because it would have been easier to get to and from work versus, and I mean, I know some of us have done this before, maybe not, but some of us have even went as far as trying to sell some of our food stamps just to get a bus pass for a month. So it's just like, so we're giving up food just to be able to get transportation to and from a location. So that's why,
yes.
I get what you're doing, but at the same time, is there any way that we can change this in any way to where, or make it accessible for the unsheltered to be able to maybe get approval for something like this? Because I think it would really help them a lot more as well.
Would you, sorry, this is Yvette. Would you be able to offer some ideas on how we could go about? And that's part of this process, because as part of the grant and the requirements of the grant, we have to prove that the money is going towards the goal of the grant. So is there a way, because that is, one of the questions here, how do we address the houseless and the displaced? And if you, did you by chance use the housing authority or the address, or if you can kind of give us advice in that area, that would be terrific.
For me,
when I work with the homeless as an outreach worker, a lot of the issues is that they said they're going to come back and give me a bus pass. I'm thinking, because all you guys are brainstorming, I'm thinking keep it simple. If homeless people, if the outreach workers help them fill out the applications, right, and they were able to show proof of income, that they would get a pin and put a machine on the bus, because it's real easy to lose everything when you're homeless, especially when the police come through and tell you to move. It's real easy to have your stuff stolen if you come up, go to town to get something or to a facility. When I go out to some of the camps, they want to get, so I asked a medical center something. I said, how can I get them out here? And they're going, well, they can call and make an arrangement with Van Gogh. Of course, there's no phones, right? So they got to walk to a phone somehow if they don't have their Obama phone charged. And then I go, but then how do they get back? And, and there it goes. So if the homeless had a PIN, so they would say with the last four numbers of their Social Security, the last four numbers of their driver's license or ID number, and there was a pad on the Van Gogh and all you did was put in your PIN, you could go. So when you're homeless and life is complex, it's so easy to help them keep it simple on a lot of stuff.
That may get to the virtual card option, Caroline, that
Yes, we do have a virtual card, so maybe that's something.
we may have to, yeah.
It seems like we might have a.
Is there, go
Yeah.
ahead, sorry. Is there a way to get this, like, I don't know, like when you guys are saying about the homeless, maybe run it through St. Mary's and they can keep up with the, you know, because they've got a lot of programs through St. Mary's too. They might be able to keep up with the address or the whatever the numbers are for the cards, or, you know, be able to help out that way too. Because they also have dentists that comes out there that does a lot of the outreach for St. Mary's as well. We can get a hold, I can get a hold of him as well. I've got multiple resources out here in Stockton from being homeless for 4 years and kind of going against the city and joining these other organizations. So I can get a lot of information about the unsheltered and things like that if needed. But I would say
That'd be great.
Even any of the other shelters, what's the other one called?
Gospel Rescue Mission.
Yeah, the Gospel Rescue Mission. Maybe they can get on board and help out with it too. Because, I mean, really, our unsheltered need this a lot. Don't get me wrong, people with places need it too, but they need it more because they can't even get up on their feet without transportation to get to and from work. So that's you know, I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about trying to work for the unsheltered. I was there for 4 years, just got into a place, like I said, 3 weeks ago. So I'm trying to do more for them because not everybody's out there for choice. You know, don't get me wrong, there are people out there by choice, but not everybody is. And they're wanting a leg up, in a sense, not a handout, but a leg up to help them start providing for themselves and doing things. And transportation is one of those main things that's hard to do because warehouse work is across town from the shelter. It's literally 2-3 miles away down airport. So, you know, a lot of the transportation for them, it's hard because all the good work is further away.
Yes. Okay. So would it be possible, Yvette, if we and Nick and Pat, if we could try to arrange a meeting with people at St. Mary's and Gospel Rescue and other people and talk about a way that we could kind of make this program accessible to house? Does that sound?
I mean, I'm willing to get together and figure some stuff out and get some meetings taken care of. I can get into St. Mary's pretty easy. But I have to go through Mercedes, who's on vacation till the end of, till the end of next week. So it'd be.
Oh, that's fine. We have
it'd
time.
have to be somewhere around that time. But yeah, I can get an appointment in there with her, and then she can let me know who I need to talk to and the next step from there. As well as I can get a hold of Dennis too to see what he can do. I believe he works for Central Valley, but I'm not sure. I have to get with him to find that out. So, but yeah, there's no problems here.
This is William. What we can do is I can get since I have all of your emails, why don't I do an introductory email, and then that way you all can correspond on this and work together to address this. So I think this is really great. I do just want to make note that it is 6:20, so I just want to know, just be respectful of everyone else's time as well.
Yes.
So I know, Nick, you are very passionate, and I really appreciate that. And that's what the whole point of this, group is all about, is trying to build these connections and push. So I'm happy to kind of help get that ball rolling by connecting you all by email, and then you guys can take it from there.
Yeah,
that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty much finished here, but it's, please, if you have any thoughts or questions, just let me know. I'm more than happy to spend more time discussing this with anybody.
There will also be an opportunity, a formal survey, an interactive survey is going to be released in a couple weeks. Christine?
Yeah, by end of the month, we'll have a survey out to gather additional input, not just on this specific thing, but also we're going to be gathering input about where we should station those cars and those bikes, general locations for that. And so we'll make sure that William gets that information out to you all.
Yeah, so you can document and take the time to respond.
Yeah, and I think one last thing before we hop off here is that there's an event in the community that we're planning March 26th at Conway Homes, and you all are welcome to come and join us. We're gonna have the e-bikes there if you're curious and want to take a test ride. They're gonna be there on site, and then we also will have our first EV or electric vehicle that we've purchased with our grant, also kind of on display and showcasing for community members to learn more about and sign up so that you can become like a beta tester of the new programs that we're going to be launching. So you all are welcome. And again, we'll make sure William has the event info and we'll share it out with you guys, and we'll hopefully see you at the end of the month over at Conway Homes. All right. And on the screen is our contact info, but again, yeah, William can connect us again afterwards.
All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Christine and everyone. Just want to know can we take down the screen, or is there anything else? Because I'll be sharing the slides out if that's okay with you all, with the climate leaders. All right, awesome. Thanks so much, Christine, Caroline, and Yvette for your presentation. I really appreciate what you were able to share, and I hope the climate leaders did too. And I'm really excited about the opportunity for you all to work together to, implement these changes. And especially, like I said, the whole point of this program is to not just like sit here and learn, but to build those connections and, put resources and expertise to make the changes that we need to see in our community. So really happy to see the dialogue that happened just now. With that, if there isn't anything else or if there's any questions folks may have, any quick questions for any of our guest panelists at the moment.
I just want to say, I think you guys are awesome for what you're doing. So thank you. This is, part of the partnership for SJCOG and what we love. And, we need feedback all the time. So be proud of what you're doing. It's great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Yvette. So yeah, if there's no other questions or comments, then I think we can let our guest speakers off tonight. I just have a few quick things for the climate leaders, so please just stay on really quick. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so as you heard, there is an event that's going to be happening on March 26th at Conway Homes. I'll be sharing more information with that later this week. I just want to blow up all of your inboxes and plus the
for that $350 a month.
Wait, what? Pat, did you have a question?
Oh, wait. Oh, no, wait. No, somebody asked me what meeting I'm on, and she knew about you guys.
Okay. All good, all good.
Climate, so I had to say which climate.
All good. There will be an event on March 26th. I'll be sharing details out later this week. It'll be kind of tied in with some of the work that you will be needing to do as part of the program. But we're really excited to have this event happening on March 26th. So you'll be getting that information later this week with more specifics, time, things like that. In addition, we will have our networking meeting on Friday at 5 o'clock. So if you're able to attend, we look forward to that. If you're not able to attend, that's no problem. We're hoping to have future networking events with the youth justice leaders in the coming weeks as well. So if you miss this opportunity, it's not the end of the world, there'll be more. In addition, please make sure to fill out those post-session surveys. I'll be sending that out probably tomorrow along with the recording. Please make sure to complete those. I am using that to make sure that we kind of measure and to get those stipends out. And then one last thing is that your stipends are in the process of being finalized or approved. So we'll hopefully get those out before sometime in the next week. I apologize again for the delay. There's been we're a little backlogged in our finance department. So hoping that sometime early next week, you'll get your checks. And if not, if you don't get them by Wednesday of next week, please reach out to me and I'll try and figure out where there's any complications with your stipends. And then going forward, they should be arriving the first week of the month. So you won't be getting them in the middle of the month. You'll be getting them at the beginning for the work that you're doing for the previous month, if that makes sense. So for everything that's happening in March, you'll get a check in April. For everything in April, you'll get a check in May, etc. And then one last thing. No, I think that was it. So I know that was a lot of information to kind of just throw out. Oh, one last thing, yes. So as part of the surveys, I do ask the question to make sure that y'all are paying attention. I know you all are, but for the folks that are gonna need to rewatch these recordings. So we reached that point. So my question for the night is, what year was ACE found, or like when did ACE train start its services? So the Altamont Commuter Express or Altamont Corridor Express, what year did it start? And it started in 1998. So please remember that year, 1998. And yeah, so that's the answer to the question. And so with that, just want to open the floor if there's any questions folks have at the moment. Comments, criticisms. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for spending an hour and 30 minutes today. I know we were scheduled for 6, but again, we had great conversations happening and I was really just like inspired by what was going on. So this is, I think, I know we're scheduled for 6, but I'm okay if they go over, because if you're asking questions, if you're engaged, that's what matters most. So really appreciate everyone and hope that in the coming weeks, we'll be able to apply what you're learning and what you're experiencing through these programs and applying it to the, what's going on in your communities. So we're going to start ramping up soon. And then one last thing is that we are going to start looking at in-person opportunities for our sessions. So just be on the lookout for that information as we get closer. But we're looking at roughly April to begin that in-person training sessions. So with that, I will let you have the rest of your nights, and I really appreciate you all being on. And feel free to reach out to me with any questions. And yeah, hope you all have a good night.
You too.
All right,
Thank
good
you.
night.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.